Welcome to the Mancave podcast, where motivation is a must and accountability is an expectation. Real men, real experiences, and real talk. The mission is clear: to become better versions of ourselves. Let's go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. This is the Mancave. I'm Jay.
And I'm Mike. And what's good, y'all? Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Turn them on.
And this time, leave some comments in down below so we can get to know everything you say and get to know you personally. So tonight's going to be a good one. So, Jay, without further ado, man.
So today's topic is relationship advice.
Yeah, the dynamic between a man and a woman in a relationship. So it's going to get spicy. So make sure that you strap on your seatbelt and we about to take you on the ride. So without further ado, like we said, the first episode was the DNA of a man, right? So we took you through the whole journey and through what it is to be a man through each and one of our eyes. And we explained that. In the second video, we explained what the men we described look for in women or in spouses or in companionship.
Right.
So now this third video is bringing everything together.
There we go.
And so it's relationship advice and between a man and a woman in that dynamic. So the first thing I think of when I think of a relationship, and it's combining all those intangibles we talked about on the man's side and the woman's side. Basically, we're talking about, I look at a relationship or a household as a corporation,
there
right? So
like a business,
So my first thing is that's what you look at it as, right? So the man is the president.
There we go.
Okay. The woman is the vice president. Okay, which means the man, yes, he's the overseer, he's the provider, he takes care of things. But since the woman's the vice president, he doesn't do anything without advice from the vice president, which is the woman.
And her consent.
So always remember that. It's not a dictatorship, it's a partnership.
It's a team.
If you're under that, if you have kids, if you're married, and even if you're not, if you have kids, the kids I would say are like the board members, right? So you inform the board members what you're doing and why you're doing it, but ultimately it's still your decision to carry out whatever you want. And the neighbors, they're just spectators, right? So that would be my first thing as far as the dynamic of a relationship or a marriage. So
right. That's what's up. So as far as my dynamics, it's kind of coming from a different point of view or whatnot, but it's just take a little ride with me. So basically, communication.
Okay.
How do you handle arguments in your relationship? Because at the end of the day, they're gonna happen, but at the end of the day, you have to get through those arguments, So we're gonna dibble and dab into that today. And another thing is, like, do you let your friends and family dictate your relationship? Family and friends, they might say, put a couple things in your ear. They might put a couple things in your ear, like, hey, man, I don't like the way he talking, or I don't like the way she talking about this certain situation. Does that alter your mind or whatnot? So we gonna dive right in, bro.
So I want to start off by that conversational piece of taking it from a woman's aspect, and I'm a firm believer of that a woman is an incubator, right? A woman is a producer. So anything you give a woman, she multiplies, right?
Exactly.
So you give a woman a house, she'll make a home out of it.
Boom.
You give a woman groceries, she'll make a meal out of it, right? You give a woman sperm, she makes a baby out of it, right? So they're producers and incubators. Incubators is when you put something inside of an incubator, you get it back tenfold. So with that conversation, and she has to watch who she's talking to and having conversations with, right? Because whatever she takes in, she gives back tenfold.
Right.
So if she's in a relationship that is working, right, and she's great, she's madly in love, they're working, and she's talking to single females,
right,
that can't seem to never keep a man, she's going to receive all that information and spew it in at her home, and it's where it's happy, and that can become detrimental. That could be detrimental to the relationship.
Exactly.
So I like that part about the communication and who you're communicating with.
Yeah. So I got one question, and that's bouncing off of what I was talking about. But so in a relationship, how do you handle arguments coming from your point of view or whatnot?
Well, rule number one, fellas, you're not gonna win regardless.
Never.
When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, you're wrong. That's just rule number one. And I know ladies are in the background like, yep. Like, we're not going to win, okay? And no matter how right you are, you're still wrong in a situation,
right?
Okay? Even if you're wrong, that's when we have to swallow our pride and just chalk it up to the game.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's basically, and it's a learning experience, fellas, because we're just naturally, as men, we're just competitive, right? And we have all that testosterone. So normally when the argument goes on, we want to go head up, head up, head up. But let me tell you, in those arguments, how many times do you girls, your woman reach for those jugulars? They cut deep, don't they? So before you even get to that point, and before I get to that point, you know, or we get to that point in an argument, or, you know, it can be just a conversation that we're just like a disagreement. I don't like the word argument. So in a disagreement, you know, I'm noticing that the temperature's rising a little bit. So I talk to myself within that disagreement or that conversation and say, okay, Mike, is it really worth it?
Right.
You know, and usually the answer to that is no, right? So, okay, yeah, babe, you're right. I apologize. And usually, you know, things cool down, cooler heads prevail. But it takes a lot of experience going through that stuff, because sometimes, you know, your girl knows the correct buttons to push, and she smashes them. She don't push them. She smashes them. So, you know, you have to take the high road and know that no matter what your girl says, right? It's not going to hurt as much as what you say to your girl, because you can do as little as like raise your voice, and your girl act like you didn't cut her leg off. You know what I'm saying? So it's something you gotta think about, but it's something you actually have to go through and learn through experience. You know.
So I would say, like, as far as me, you gotta outweigh the pros and cons. First of all, is this argument, or whatever the case may be, is it even worth it?
Is it even worth it?
You know what I'm saying? So the way I approach that situation is I always try to have a cool head, because I never know what's going to be thrown my way. So I take it in. I never speak first. I always allow my brain and everything to take in everything that's coming to me, sit back, and then I have a real conversation, because I turn that argument into a conversation, because I'm not trying to argue with you. And that's one thing that you ladies have to understand. Most of the time, we're not trying to argue. We just want to communicate, and it's okay. I'm going to let you get your word across. I'm going to get mine across, and it's okay. But that's all about the relationship. That's all about the relationship. You know what I'm saying? When you're living life with someone that you love, you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to look at this individual and say, oh, well, obviously this person has a brain. This person thinks differently than I do. So let them do so. Okay?
Yeah, I like that. It's all about compromise when it comes to things like that. And fellas, like I said, you got to learn how to turn the other cheek. And ladies, you too. Like I said, you guys cut deep. When you cut deep, and it leaves marks. And, you know, you kind of want to stay away from that, because ultimately, if you're with the person you want to be with, that's the person you love, and you never want to hurt anybody like that. So I definitely like that your way of thinking from that perspective, you know. Appreciate it. Fellas, that's a little game, man. And like I said, you're never gonna win a relationship. So I mean, not a relationship. You're not gonna win a argument. So just leave it alone, you know. So
The battle's not yours.
Right. So another thing I'm thinking about as far as dynamic is, I'm taking it even before it's a serious relationship, like you're planning on having a serious relationship.
Okay.
And this is more leaning towards the ladies, like information for the ladies.
Okay.
And ladies, this is something that I've been looking at, for a minute, is and it's going back to the last video and the preaching of independence, right? And wanted to be your own boss and have your own this, your own that. And like I said, it's important. It adds to who you are. It's an important attribute, right? But when you are looking for a mate, right, and companionship, and you were so stronghold on having your own stuff and becoming your own person, unknowingly that creates a lot of masculine behavior, right? You get a masculine aura about you, right? So once you come into a relationship with a real man, that can become a problem inside the household, because now we feel like we're dating a man because you have these man attributes, because before us you were so gun-ho on, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I got this, I got that. And that's where the head buttons begins. Ladies, you gotta allow a man to be a man. If he's a man, if you chose him because of who he is, allow him to lead.
Let him step up to the plate. But at the same time, I feel like society is shaping the whole situation.
Yeah, they changing the narrative. Yeah.
So like if you think about it, like how you said back in the previous episode, we was talking about like a traditional woman. Right. So back in the day, the traditional woman was literally in the house because the simple fact, I mean, they couldn't get jobs.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But now the ladies, they're more empowered. They have more opportunities to get jobs. Therefore, society is putting them at a stronghold, and it's kind of like putting the men at a lower
at the bottom, at the totem pole.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
So, but mentally is making you feel like you're better than us, like you don't need us. But at the end of the day, when you get that career, when you reach the peak of everything that you ever wanted in life, you're still going to be missing something. And what you're going to be missing is that man. So at the end of the day, you need that man to grow. And
that brings me to my next thing. Even though it's nice to say and it's nice to hear, right? And this is, again, where I'm looking at is before we get into a relationship at the beginning, and this goes for men and women, right? You should never need anybody.
Wow,
you should never need anybody, right? So I feel as if you should be so comfortable with who you are and yourself that you know yourself completely. When you don't need somebody, that's when you're ready for somebody. You get what I'm saying? And I see it tenfold, okay? So I'm going to explain it to you. When you get in a relationship and you need somebody to validate your happiness,
right?
You need someone to continue to make you happy, that relationship's going to fail. Okay? That's unfair and that's selfish to think that someone other than yourself can keep up with your ego. Okay, we're the only ones that can keep up with our own egos, right? To make ourselves happy. You cannot count on someone else to make you happy.
That's why it's called self-esteem.
Self-esteem, right?
You in control.
No matter what.
Of yourself.
No matter what, right? So that's what makes me think of that. Yeah. It's ladies, and I'm gonna say it. Most of the time, it's the ladies. Babe, do I look good in this? Babe, do I look good at that? Babe, am I fat? You never tell me I'm pretty, babe. I mean, I tell you this all the time. Like, no matter how many times I tell you that, how many times I tell you look fine without makeup, you still put it on, right? No matter how many times I tell you don't look fat, you still complaining about it and you always juicing every day or things like that, right? So no matter what we tell you on both sides, men and women, if you're not happy within yourself, if you're not true to who you are, no matter who you get with, you're still going to be unhappy and unfulfilled in a relationship.
Basically, at the end of the day, 4 words, it's a dead end. Okay? So get yourself together. There we go.
Yeah. So, and another thing is when you get in a relationship, you have to continue to work, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, the beginning, the honeymoon stage or what they call it, it's the honeymoon stage, right? But that doesn't mean, okay, after the 3 months or 4 months pass, that's it, we locked in. Or when you get married, that's it, we locked in. No, that's when our work starts.
That's when
men and women. Now, we about to get deep on this one real quick, okay? So, ladies, I need you to pay attention to this. This is the message, okay? Men don't want sex. Men don't want sex. Men need sex. Men need sex. And I'm about to break it down to you, okay? Men need sex. What were we created for? The purpose of man. To procreate and recreate.
We needed a woman. And in the Bible, woman was made for man.
So the sole purpose of a man before anything else was to recreate and procreate. So that's how we are. That's why we don't have a cycle. That's the main reason why we don't have a cycle. So we can be ready to procreate at the drop of a dime. Any given Sunday. We're always ready. We're ready in the morning. We're ready at the morning, night, noon, lunchtime, breakfast time, anytime, right? So it's not that men want sex, it's that we need it, right? So you can't run a car without gasoline.
Boom.
You know, that's how a car functions, right? So it's the same type of thing. Now, man, it works on the other half, right?
Exactly.
So we run off of that, and that's why it seems like it. So ladies, hold on, I'm sorry. Ladies, don't make your man feel bad because you're like, well, you just had it last night. You trying to go again this morning? Yes.
And then you can make some breakfast and I could go about my day.
You know?
It's like, no.
And it's not that, you know, if we don't get it for a minute, it's not that we're upset, right? We're not angry. It's just how we are wired. If we, like most men's love language is touch. It's touch, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, it's affection, right? So, and in a lot of men's mind, the highest form of affection and physical touch is sex. So before you get mad at us or you say all he wants is sex, try to look at it from that side. Now, fellas, I'm going to get on you now, okay?
Get them.
Women don't need sex.
They don't.
Women don't need sex, right? Well, you saying like, Mike, what's going on? Or some women might say, hold on, I might need it. But let me tell you, just like sex is the purpose for a man, right? And that's what we drive off of. Women, their most reaction and primal reaction is affection.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's affection. It's showing them that you love and care for them. It's what you say to them, right? It's what you do for them. It's affection.
There we go.
Now, fellas, sex is what you get in result of affection, right? But it's all about affection. If you're affectionate with your woman, then you will get your needs met, right? Your needs met. So that's how you got to look at it as far as that dynamic, right? It's not all about sex.
Yeah.
We got to come to a happy medium, you know, and keep each other happy on that type of wavelength. And that, you know, that's a little for the grown-ups and stuff, you know, a little history and a little education on that. So,
but it was just basically, you just summed it up, like the honeymoon stage. And after the honeymoon stage,
you got to keep working.
You have to work at it.
Yeah,
you have to work at it regardless. Period.
Every day is work. Ladies, fellas, every day is work, you know, and with that cliche saying, the grass ain't green on the other side. It ain't, you know, because every situation you're gonna have to put work in.
You have to.
It just differs the amount of work from, you know, from person to person. But you have to put that work in. You have to be dedicated, you know. If you really love that person, sometimes it's going to be rough, man. Right? Like, sometimes it's going to be rough. But then you have to look yourself in the mirror. Then you have to look at that person and ask yourself, do you want to continue to work on
with
things and work with that person? Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's taking it back to, like I said, it's a corporation. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the man is at the top. That's the president. Mm-hmm. So if you can look at any relationship, mm-hmm. if the relationship is failing, you don't point the finger at anybody else but that man. Mm-hmm. Because that man is what drives everything underneath.
Oh yeah.
Is he affectionate to his woman? Is he a provider? Right? Is he a protector? Mm-hmm. Those are all the attributes and the characteristics that we were explaining in the first video of this trilogy. Right? And then after that, the vice president, you look at the woman and is she producing? Is she a producer? Is she incubating good things and bringing great things into the house?
Exactly.
But ladies, I'm back on y'all. I'm going back and forth.
Back and forth.
You know, a woman builds with her hands, but she burns with her mouth. Okay?
Ooh.
Now, I know that's a little confusing, but fellas, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Ladies, sometimes it's better to listen than to talk. When we're trying to explain ourselves, we don't need you to try to finish our sentence. We don't need you to try to guess what we're talking about and come up with your own preconceived notion or story about or version about what we're trying to tell you.
Right.
Again, when we're opening up,
Let us open up. Let us.
And we're looking for advice, but let us get our point across. Yeah. Okay? It's already hard enough for us to open up to you, right? So, ladies, when we actually are opening up to you and telling you something sincerely from the heart, that means we actually care for you, right? Because we just don't let anyone in, right? We're men. So we're at our exterior, we're hard at the very least. Mm-hmm. So once we open up, let us open up. No judgment. Don't try to come up with your own version of our story we're trying to tell, and really pay attention. Stop when we're talking to you. Stop watching Housewives. Stop scrolling on Instagram looking at Khloe Kardashian. Like, those people are not important.
Yeah.
That person right in front of you that's who's important. Yes. So try to pay attention to that, you know, and that's how you click on all levels and all cylinders, you know. So yeah, I mean this could keep going, but before we keep going, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Turn them on.
And leave a comment down below.
Yeah.
We want to know if anyone else has any type of relationship advice, you know, or experiences they went through, so we can kind of talk on that and see if, you know, just let us know how we doing. Let us know what we can do better and things like that. We're always open to constructive criticism, and we're only going to get better every episode.
That's
so what's
right,
up?
That's right. My main thing is, it's always a question that you should ask every now and then with your partner. You know what I'm saying? Where are we at in our relationship? If you don't know, you should always ask, just for confirmation.
Right.
Hey, how you feeling, baby? Where are we at in our relationship? Are we moving forward? Are we moving backwards? Maybe we need to talk about this.
Right.
We need to sit down and have a brief conversation. So to end this, I feel like you should always have like a progress report or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just have a little nice talk or whatever. Babe, how you feeling about us or whatever. And it's just about being 100 with each other. You know what I'm saying? And just really just expressing yourself. And whenever you come into these conversations, you have to have an open mind. You have to literally sit back and listen without reacting first. Listen, take it in, then explain. No reacting harshly, none of that. We all about just having conversations, no arguments, and that's how everything could really just be conquered from there, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I like that. And if you guys are paying attention to what we're saying, the most important thing that continues to pop up is communication. Communication is key in a household, in a relationship, and in a marriage, right?
Yeah.
So there's always going to be something that comes up, and no relationship is perfect. No partnership is perfect, right? But as long as you let your spouse know how you're feeling, and that spouse should not be taking anything personal, especially if your spouse is willing to open up like that. You should be able, like Jay said, take it in, digest it first, right? Because if I tell you something and you already have a rebuttal or you already have an answer, that means you weren't listening to me, right? That means you didn't take that in, process it first. Boom. You can always tell a good listener, because after you finish talking, they take a while before they answer.
Exactly.
That's because they were listening and taking it all in and constructing a good answer for you, or their correct feedback.
Exactly.
So it's all about communication. Communication is key throughout a relationship, and like I said, it's gonna be rocky, but that's when you know, or that's how you find that right person to go on that rocky road with you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the effort and the work that you put in a relationship. You know, no matter what it is. You know, like I said, women are producers at heart, right? So that goes to my next thing. Men, you cannot be a man without a plan. You cannot be a man without a dream or a vision, okay? As men, we need a dream, we need a vision, and we need some type of direction that we're going in.
Yeah.
None of us know where we're going completely, right? But we have to have some type of direction, because once we meet a woman, like I said at the beginning, they are producers, they are incubators, right? So we sit our lady down, our wife down, our spouse down, and we say, babe, I have a dream, I want to do this, you know? First of all, that woman is always going to hold you accountable, okay? Secondly, that woman is going to take that information in, and she's going to sit down with you, and once you say you want to do something, she's going to bring it back to you, like I said, tenfold. Well, babe, in order for you to do this, you're going to have to do this, and that, and the other, right? Every time, right? And let's say, okay, babe, I want to open up a gym, right? And 4 months go by, you're like, oh, babe, this is rough. You know, I can't get a license for this. I can't find a building. I don't know what. I think I'm going to just give up. You know what that woman going to say? No. This is what you said. This is what you promised me. This is what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Women are going to lay that law on you. And that's what we said in the last video. Women give us motivation. They make us, or they give us that energy, and they give us that feeling to want to be better. That they give us that extra push to be better, right?
Exactly.
So you when you are in a relationship, or when you're looking for a relationship, make sure, like I said, you have these pillars about you. Know yourself. Be comfortable with yourself before you jump into a relationship.
There we go. Point blank period, man. So, I mean, we done laid down the law to a certain extent, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully y'all love what we brought to the table today. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and
leave those comments down below
at the bottom.
You know, we appreciate the feedback. We've been getting great feedback, and we're going to keep on giving you guys this content. As you see, we're loving it, and hopefully you guys can see that we're trying to make improvements with every episode. Trying to give you great information every episode, and we're going to continue to do it, because not only do we do this for ourselves, and it's a healing kind of therapeutic session, but we're doing it for you too. So, like we said, keep liking our videos, keep tuning in, and you know, hey, like I said, I'm Mike.
I'm Jay. This is the Man Cave.
Peace.